Hello everyone and welcome to the final round of this week's Title Tuesday. It's always like this when you think what is Magnus Carlsen doing, and it's a Tuesday. He is of course playing Title Tuesday. Most of the greatest players of the world gathered and played some grueling classical chess for 2 weeks long to qualify for the FIDE Candidates Tournament, but Magnus here just bashing people in 5+0. And 2 Tuesdays ago they changed the format. It was 3+2 or 3+1, and then they changed it to 5+0. Magnus won the first iteration of the 5+0 Title Tuesday, and now he's here to defend his title. And he has a chance. He has to beat Esipenko in the final round, but still, anything could happen. And it's a really weird game to happen in a final round, especially since Esipenko is the one with the white pieces. So yeah, let's check it out. Andrey with white opens with pawn to e4. Magnus, of course, goes for the Sicilian defense. We have pawn to c5, knight f3, and pawn to e6. Sorry, that's e5, pawn to e6. Sorry about that. And pawn to d4. Striking in the center, of course, very nicely done. We have captures, and pawn to a6, going into the Khan variation of the Sicilian. You can meet it with the bishop to d3, with knight c3, with pawn to c4. All of these are very, very natural moves, but Esipenko goes for bishop to e3. And here Magnus says that he said that he is a little bit unconvinced, and he played knight to f6. He went after this e4 pawn, bishop to d3, and queen to c7. So a nice flexible setup. We have pawn to c4, and knight to c6 by Magnus. We have knight captures and c6, d captures, and pawn to f4, grabbing even more space, and Magnus challenges it with pawn to e5. We have pawn to f5, not allowing bishop to come to e6, and Magnus has to decide how to develop the bishop pair. There are a couple of games too, actually, where pawn to h5 was played. Here we have bishop to b4 with check, and it is now, as of move 10, that we have a completely new game. Okay, Andrey defends knight to c3, and now pawn to c5. Magnus says that he's not worried about losing that, sort of control of the d5 square, but it's not as if the knight can move. If it ever happens, he can always capture and mess up Esipenko's pawn structure here. So pawn to g4, preparing pawn to g5, but Magnus just plays pawn to h6. We have pawn to h4, and now bishop to d7. A bit more precise is to capture on c3 first, but this is 5+0. Of course, you have to play fast as well. Rook g1, now you are ready to push that pawn to g5, as the rook on h1 was undefended. It wouldn't really do you all that much good. And now Magnus goes bishop to c6. Again, if you put this to an engine, capturing and castles is just better for black, as there really isn't a good plan here for white. The only plan white was hoping to achieve is pawn to g5, but turns out that it doesn't really do all that much, and there's a king on e1, so it just looks a little bit weird. So after rook to g1, we have bishop to c6, and now queen to c2. Bishop captures on c3, and queen captures on c3. Or rather, queen captures on c3 would be what you should play, but Esipenko decided to keep an eye on that e4 pawn, as Magnus was attacking it 3 times, now 2 times, and he played b captures on c3, and this is now a problem. With queen captures, it's still possible. You give up the pawn, you move the queen, and okay, you somehow still play this. You play pawn to b6 to defend the c5 pawn, let's say castles queenside, and it's not great, but you are still playing it. But after bishop captures on c3, we have b captures, and now Magnus just castles queenside. We have castles queenside from Esipenko as well, and now queen to a5. Targeting everything, we have rook to d2, adding another defender to that a2 pawn, preparing rook to d1, but it is nowhere near fast enough. So what would you play here? There are actually a couple of nice ideas you could try here. Magnus went for the cleanest one. So what would you play here? Well, I'll give you a couple of seconds. The position is so good you could even waste a move. Rook d7, rook d6, then double up, and then go for the capture. But Magnus did it right away. He played rook, captures on d3, and now it doesn't matter what you capture with. Whether you capture with the rook or with the queen, Esipenko captured with the queen, and now bishop captures on e4. And he was in this position on move 19 that Andrey Esipenko resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So quite a convincing display of power in Title Tuesday by the #1 chess player in the world, Magnus Carlsen. He wins the event now back to back. This is the second time in a row, or basically now as is the new format of Title Tuesday. He won 100% of them, but altogether he mentioned that it's or someone mentioned that it's maybe the 40th time he won Title Tuesday. So yeah, very impressive stuff. And here you resign because your queen is hanging. There's no good square for the queen. This is covered by the knight. This is covered by the rook. Queen d6 doesn't really do all that much. It's a silly square. And if you go something like queen to e2 to help out with the defense, maybe queen captures on c3 check. And now if you go to d1, then queen e1 is checkmate. And if you go to for rook c2, trying to give up some material, again you go for queen a1, king to d2 check, and now rook to d8 check. And now the white king has no squares. You have to first give up the bishop, then you have to give up the queen, or maybe run away with the king, doesn't really matter. Queen captures on g1, queen f2, and now you're just gonna give a fork, king moves, and queen captures with checkmate, or any checkmate that you prefer. But yeah, 19 moves with the black pieces. The Khan Sicilian, it's really scary. No one knows how to play against this. It's like the Nairov, but it's not. Everyone knows the hundreds, thousands of lines against the Nairov. No one knows how to play against the Khan. So, try to play like Magnus here. Learn the Khan, and what best way to learn it than by using Lotus Chess. First link in the description below. Download it and, crush your opponents like this. Well, not like this. You're not going to be playing like Magnus, but you might get a nice position out of the opening. So yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed it. Very nicely done by Magnus as usual. Congratulations on crushing everyone once again. I would like to thank Ali Urukoglu, John Veria, the Duncan Winecall, Ramesh Sadi, and Sanjeev Sharma for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.